Me and Slater, the founder and CEO of Libero. We founded the company a couple years ago to acquire gold and copper assets in the Americas. We were looking for large assets without fatal flaws in the downturn that we could de-risk in the coming market. We have 90 million shares out, so that's historically over the last few months it's been about a 10 million market cap, but of course the last couple of days it's definitely on sale. I founded the company with Leo Hathaway. He's been Ross Beattie's VP Exploration on all the Lumina companies for more than a decade. And he's done this business model before. About a third of the large copper projects in South America that have been de-risked and sold to majors in the past decade, all the work has been done by Leo on the ground. So he's put together a great team of technical geologists for doing exactly what we want to do. And on our board, Rob Pease was head of global projects at Placer Dome. And when he left Placer, he took the Mount Milligan project into Terrain, did the exact same thing, de-risked it and sold it to a major. And when we started acquiring projects in Canada, I asked Bill Bennett, who was the Minister of Mines for 16 years in British Columbia, to join our board. And he's been instrumental with permitting and First Nations relations. These are some of the wins that Rob and Leo have had in their careers on these similar type of projects. So together, they've sold projects worth over a couple $2 billion. I love these couple slides because they really show what we're trying to do. This is all the projects, large porphyry copper projects sold by juniors in South America in the last cycle. And they typically sell, sorry, it's a little bit small, but they typically sell for $400 million. And that's around 4 cents per pound. And keep that in mind for the next slide. And the tonnage and grade here, about 0.4 copper and almost 1 billion tons, very similar grades to what we have in our projects, especially Mccullough in Colombia, our flagship project. And on all the ones with the star on there, that was Leo and his team who were who did the exploration. So this is the current landscape for copper developers. The boxes at the top are how many pounds of copper they have. So in our project, we have 12 billion pounds of copper. And on the medium is 0.7 cents, so a lot less than 4 cents in what they typically sell for at the peak of the market. And for us, as we haven't drilled these projects yet, as we drilled 2 of our projects this year, our valuation will go up to that, in line with our peers. This is Mccullough, our porphyry copper moly project in Colombia. It was discovered in the 1970s by the government. They did a full feasibility study on this in the 1980s, so we know it doesn't have any fatal flaws. We know the metallurgy is good and it produces clean concentrates. It was acquired by AngloGold when they staked the most of the country back in 2004 and JV'd it with B2 Gold. B2 loved the project. They drilled it twice, but it's copper moly and they're a gold company, so it never moved up their development pipeline. And we were able to purchase it from B2 for shares about 18 months ago. Here's where we are. We're in the Jurassic Belt. There's lots of mines in this belt in Chile and Peru. The closest one to us would be Mirador in Ecuador, which was de-risked by Corriente and sold to the Chinese Railway Company last cycle, and that's built now. Actually, right across the border from us, but in different rocks, is SolGold's Cascabel. And the two closest projects really are Cascabel and AngloGold's Quebradona are both large block cave copper projects nearby. Our drilling for the historical drilling here by the government in B2 had some exceptional holes, often 0.5% copper over 300 or 700 meters, and very high grade moly. And within this, you often get intercepts of 100 meters of over 1% copper. Drill intercepts that would be exciting at a new discovery today. Overall, in an unconstrained resource, we have about 1 billion tons. Pit constrained, that's 636 million tons of 0.45 copper equivalent, including the moly. And it's about 1.2 kilometers by 1.4 kilometers wide. The strip is only 0.26 to 1, which is a very good strip for this type of project. And the deepest drill holes are 1 kilometer deep and the mineralization continues. So there's actually an opportunity there to block cave high grade at depth in the future. But the open pit is the easier way to start. The gray line there is the pit shell. You can see that the red is there the light red is over 0.5% copper and dark red over 1% copper, right below our current pit constrained resource, and that's because in the area just to the east where it says resource pit shell, that's where we're going to infill drill this year. And if we build up a resource there, we'll be able to expand that pit and take in the high-grade resource that's right below our current pit. That'll significantly increase the grade and the tonnage. Although 600 million tons of 0.45 copper already is large enough and high grade enough for a major. This is our drill program. We're going to drill, we're going to test it east and west. It's actually still open. We're going to test that downhill plunge. We're at the bottom there, and that to see if that continues at depth. And which is really exciting, is just to the east of it, is we have about 500 meters to the east, we found a copper and soils anomaly that's larger and higher grade than what B2 drilled. So on the left there is where our entire resource is, and the geochem anomaly on the right is our new discovery. So we're going to drill some holes in there as well. So we have 600 million tons. We can expand that. A likely target would be around 1 billion tons, and we have another porphyry just to the east as well. So that was our Mccullough Project in Colombia. This is our Big Red project, the other project that we're going to drill this year. The opportunity here is this is our ridge target, and it was covered in a glacier as recent as 5 years ago. You can see it on Google Earth where it was completely covered. And we have outcropping mineralization there between these three remnants of the glacier. Overall, in a kilometer diameter area on the top of this hill, our soils are over a gram gold in soils contoured at a kilometer, which is huge grade for soils. And we've gone back this summer, sampled outcropping rock, and a very high grade in the outcropping rock, even sometimes 10, 20 grams. So it's an amazing target, and we're going to be drilling that in June. It's actually one of the highest grade gold anomalies ever found in the Golden Triangle. And it looks very, very similar to GT Gold's Saddle South deposit that they discovered a couple years ago. There was a lot of work done historically on these titles in the 1960s. For the first time, we digitized all those 35 different work programs and created a data set for this project that never existed before. No one ever had looked at the entire picture. And it was all broken up. So the other opportunity here was no one had ever owned the entire district, which is what we put together. And where we are, we can, like with all our projects, you can drive right to the project. So this one is at the end of the road past Telegraph Creek, but you can drive right into the bottom of it here because there's an operating placer mine. And that placer mine, because we've sampled all of the streams in the area, it clearly is coming from our projects, from the epithermal targets on our project. The purple outline there is our magnetic high. The copper bowl that we highlighted on here, that's one of our porphyry targets. It's contoured at 500 ppms copper in soils over 3 kilometers. And Poker and Ridge are two of our high-grade gold targets. Ridge was the one that I mentioned, that first picture with those 3 remnants of the glacier. Poker is actually another retreating glacier that's dropping out very high-grade quartz boulders underneath from the toe of the glacier, some of them up to 200 grams gold. These are our samples from last summer. This is gold. The red and orange are the high-grade samples. Overall, we found 19 multi-element anomalies where silver, gold, and copper all overlaid each other. So we have a lot of drill targets here, and the first one is going to be that ridge target, which is on the bottom of this map. And this is a comparison to GT's saddle deposit. So on the left is from GT's presentation, and then we took our ridge at the same coloring, the same scale, just to show what our golden soils looks like, and it looks very, very similar. And we just flew a ZTEM survey actually over this project, and we've got that ridge just lit up as a high conductivity target as well. So we have everything lined up to drill in a couple months, and it should be an exciting summer of drilling and hopefully a new discovery. Thanks, Brad.